Hey folks, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm Rick, and today is episode 4 of my Antique Tools series. So we'll be looking at these levels here. I've got 7 different levels. We'll take a quick look at each one. So I'm going to bring you in closer so you can get a better look. So we're going to go in order of size. So I've got a 9-inch here. This is, I think, an 18-inch. Yep. And then 24s and 30s. And I forget what this one is back here, maybe a 36-inch. But we'll go over each one as we go through them. So we'll start with the smallest one here first. And this, I don't think is anything special. This is a 9-inch steel craft. You can kind of see right in here. Let's see if I can find it on the, there we go. I don't know if you can see that. It'll focus, but this is a steel craft level. Now I tried to do research on this. What I found, I couldn't find too much online. What I found was, I believe this is a Japanese level. Steelcraft was a Japanese company, and my guess is this was probably made in the 50s or 60s. Kind of looks like a Japanese product from back then. Instead of having screws on the plate here like these other levels, we got 2 little rivets in there, 2 little pins. This is also just plain steel instead of brass. And this little cover here, this little metal piece is a little loose. It kind of wobbles around. I'm not sure what kind of wood this is, so if anybody knows, feel free to tell me. So it does have 1 plumb here and 1 level on here, and they both work. I don't think the camera's going to pick this up, but let's see if it does. I just can't get this to focus. There we go. So you can see the bubble there. Bubble there. So overall, pretty good condition. A little rusty, a little pitted and dirty in spots, but it still works, and I do use it occasionally in tight little quarters. So as I said, it's I believe a Japanese manufacturer, and that's all I could find on this, not even on this level, but on other Steelcraft levels, that they were made in Japan. So that's number 1. Number 2, now we start getting into the good stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of these levels here are Stanley levels, made by Stanley Works in New Britain, Connecticut. Now a little bit of a backstory on Stanley, the Stanley company, Stanley Works. There were actually 2 different companies originally. There was Stanley Works and Stanley, I think it was Stanley Level, and they merged. I believe they were related, maybe brothers, and they were related. So both companies were founded back in the mid-1800s. I think Stanley Works was first. Stanley Works, I think, was around 1847, 1850, and the Stanley Level was 1877, I believe, somewhere around there, and they eventually moved. They eventually merged. So this is a Stanley product, and it's going to be hard to read on the camera here. Let's see. You can see Stanley there. It says Made in USA there. And if you look, it's really hard to see. Right where my thumb is, it's a little heart shape right there with SW inside the heart. So these are known as the Sweetheart levels. And I'll get back to that in a minute. So down here, a little scratched up, but it's number 1193. That's the model number. And here it says to adjust, remove plates. So this is an adjustable this is an adjustable level. So you remove the plates here, I believe here, to adjust these vials. And they all work. So let's see if we can catch that one. You can see the bubble there. So this has 2 plums, one there, and one there, and then one level. Right. Where are we? Nope. Right there. The wood on this, I'm not sure. I think this is mahogany. Kind of looks like mahogany to me, but I'm not an expert at most woods. But that I think is mahogany, and in my research, that was the type of wood that they used for this level here. Now this one's all lined in brass. It's got brass around the edges on all 4 sides, and brass caps at the end, both ends. And this one's a little beat up here, and you can see it's a little dented here and twisted. So it took a beating somewhere along the line. So that's the second one. Oh, and on the Sweetheart levels, the Sweetheart trademark was used from 1920 to 1935, and that was to pay homage to Stanley President William Hart, who died in 1915. So that's the information on that one. Now the next one is this I-beam level, aluminum level. And this was manufactured by Mays Brothers Tool Manufacturing Company out of Port Austin, Michigan. Now this is the level that I use most often. It's getting worn. It used to be painted in red, I believe, along the edges here and along the ends. It was painted in red. You can still see a little bit of red there. And I remember this being mostly red. A little bit more red there. Some red here. I'm not sure where I don't remember where I got any of these levels. I think some of these I bought at an auction. This one, I don't know where I got. I might have inherited this from somebody, and it looks like it was used by somebody for concrete work. I've used it for concrete work, but you can see some concrete in there. But I wouldn't leave that in there. I would clean that out. So I think somebody, whoever used this before me, whoever owned it before me, used it for concrete work. There's a whole bunch of concrete right there. But it's got 4 plums, 2 here, 2 there, and then 2 levels there. Now it's got here, this seal is some kind of red, I think it's a red rubber. It's very brittle now, so I don't want to mess with it too much. And you can see that it's starting to break off. Same thing on this one, starting to break off. So I don't know how much more use I'll get out of these, out of this level, but the see it there. And I can remember when this was a bright red in here. And I've owned this, I've had this for, I'd say at least 40 years. And I've used it for a lot of work, a lot of construction work. But it still works. Now, I don't know, I didn't do any research on Mays Brothers Tool Manufacturing Company. I forgot to do that one, do the research on that one. But it can't be that old. So that's that one. Now we get into the big boys. Now this one is made by the Akron Eclipse. Manufactured by Baker McMillan Company out of Akron, Ohio, And on the brass here, it says, I don't think this is going to pick it up, but it says, and it's very hard to read even with the naked eye, Akron Eclipse Level, patent 12/20/04. So it must be December 20th of 1904. And then down here it says Baker McMillan, Akron, Ohio, USA. Overall, pretty good condition. It's got one plumb and one level. And what's interesting here is they have these black bands, so it's much easier to see the level, see if you're level. It really stands out. So that's great for an old pair of eyes. They really can't see the bubble all that well and the level lines. Where are we? Right there. Same thing on that one. Brass caps at the ends here. Both ends. And what's interesting is this is a laminated wood. I just noticed this. I didn't see this before. There's a number 6 in there. Looks like a number 6 or number 9, one or the other, but I would say number 6 because it's the same direction as the plate here, the lettering on the plate. But what's interesting is if you look at this, you can see that it's laminated wood. There are 3 sections of wood here. One there, second one there, third one there, and I think this might be mahogany. In my research, it said that these were made with mahogany wood, and that was a common wood for a lot of levels, from what I understand. So this might be mahogany, but it kind of looks like pine to me. But I doubt that they would make a level out of pine, but who knows. So again, this one works. I don't really use this for anything, but it's in really good shape. It's dirty from hanging around, being 100 years old. But this is all, the cap here is brass. And this, that's, I think, wood in there. That's wood. Yeah, that's wood in there. But on this one too, if you know what that wood is, let me know. Like I said, it looks kind of like pine to me, but it's supposedly mahogany. But I always thought mahogany was a darker wood than that and had a tighter grain than that. So let me know. All right, the last 3 are all Stanley levels. So this one, let me go back a little bit. The McMillan one here, this is a 30-inch. That was a 30-inch level. My aluminum one was 28 inches. And this other Stanley here, this is 18 inches. Now, this one, this is a 24-inch Stanley. It says Stanley Rule and Level Company, patent February 18th, 90. So it must be 1890. And there are no other markings on this. Here's another one I just noticed. There's looks like a 0 right on there. And this one I believe is I believe this is cherry wood. And this one I think may not be adjustable, may not be able to adjust the vials. And I think that's what that 0 is. I do know from my research that if there was a 0 on the level, it was not adjustable. And on one of these other levels, I'll show you something else that tells you that it's adjustable. But again, nice shape, no major dings or anything on it. There's no brass on the edges, no brass on the ends. So the only brass is the cap here, and a little bit of rust on that one screw there. But again, on this one plumb, one level, and they both work. Now we'll get on to this other one, which is, I think this is a 30-inch. Yep, this is a 30-inch. This one I have more information on. So this is another Stanley Sweetheart. You can see it there. Stanley Sweetheart. So we know that this was manufactured between 1920 and 1935. And let me bring you back here. So this is a number 3. So if it's just a number 3, this is an adjustable level. If it has a 0 on it, it's not adjustable. And so that's why I think this other one here with that 0 is not adjustable. And it doesn't say anywhere on here that it is adjustable. This one is just a plain 3, no 0. So it is adjustable. And another way to know that it's adjustable is right here. It says, to adjust, remove plates. So you take this plate off here, this plate off here, and you can adjust it. This is another one with just the one plumb and the one level. Again, I think this is cherry. And it's got this, what they call the handy hold. This was actually patented by Stanley. So it was a better way to grip the level and hold on to it. So that was actually patented. At least what I found online. That was one of their patents. This one does have brass at the ends. And I don't see any markings on the brass, but it is pretty dirty. Now this one's much cleaner, but I don't see any markings on that either. And then, last but not least, but definitely the longest one, and this is, I think, 36 inches. No, 42 inches. So here's a 42-inch, 42-inch ruler. Level. Another Stanley. This one has 2 plumbs on it. One there, the other there, and then the one level. Now this one is not a Sweetheart level. It says Stanley Rule and Level Company, patented June 2nd, 91. And then it's hard to read that date. It's pretty, I think it's August 23rd, 96. So it's got to be 1891 and 1896. There are no other markings on this. I don't think this one is adjustable. It doesn't have any indication that's adjustable. There's no, looking at it closely, there's no numbers stamped into the wood here. There's nothing on the ends. There's no brass on the ends. It's just the wood. No brass along the edges. But it works. All of these levels work. You can see the bubble there. Every one of these, every vial and every one of these levels still works. And then here is somebody's name, I'm guessing, stamped into the level E post. So I'm guessing that was the original owner of this level. So I use this level quite a bit. And in one of my prior videos where I was doing some repairs to my shed out here, I found a hole in the ground that was an old cold storage cellar or a old privy or something, and I had to fill that in to get my firewood in. And in that video, I was using this level to do my work. And I also used this level when I was doing some drainage work behind my barn. I haven't put that video out yet. That was done a little over a year ago, about a year and a half ago. That'll be coming out eventually when I do some more drainage work. But I used this level when I was putting in my my tiles, my drain pipes, because of the length of the level. I wanted this long level to better determine if my tiles were pitched the right way. So a little background on the Stanley company. They're based in New Britain, Connecticut. I think they're still based out of New Britain. That's where their original headquarters was and where their manufacturing was. And they had a huge factory there, monstrous. And I lived not too far from there when I was a kid. And I can remember driving by there, watching, that was a beehive of activity, and all kinds of people and noise, all kinds of stuff going on around there. So I'll see if I can include a photo or two of the factory, the facility back in its day. It was a big place. All right, well, it's Sunday afternoon, about 2 o'clock. So I'm headed over to Noel's place. That's Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood. Noel has a fantastic Sunday afternoon fireside chat every Sunday. So I encourage you to go visit Noel. Tell him that Rick sent you. I'm sure you'll enjoy visiting with Noel in his garage next to his wood stove. So usually on Sundays I have my tea or coffee and sit down and spend some time with Noel. So I encourage you to go visit Noel. He's got a fantastic channel. So next episode, episode 5, we'll have these planes. So I hope to see you for episode 5. Thanks folks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next video.